Let's talk about the oldest dudes. TJ McConnell's playing great recently. What has gone into that? Is there a reason for it? Pascal Siakam, could he chase 65 games? Is there a chance of WNBA? And Ivica Zubac, what should the Pacers change, if anything, to fit him in next year? Derek Kramer and I discuss all of that today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes and Circle City Spin. And today, Derek Kramer stops by. We're talking about the 30-somethings, kind of. Ivica Zubac turns 30 next season, but I actually have stuff I want to talk about with all those guys. TJ McConnell, nominated for Sportsman of the Year for his teammate and sportsmanship work, but really he's playing quite well since coming back from injury earlier this month. What has ignited his recent strong play for the Pacers? Pascal Siakam still going at 60 games. Does getting to 65 matter? What does he have left to prove, if anything, this year? And Ivica Zubac, do the Pacers need to change anything about where they're playing to help him and fit him in? Does that matter at all? Where should they change to make his fit as snug as possible? Derek Kramer from iPacersblog and I talk about all three of those guys and dive into all those topics today on Locked On Pacers. Let's just get right to it. Happy April, not April Fools. We're talking about the vets again because I have things I want to talk about regarding TJ McConnell, teammate of the year, or is it sportsman of the year? They both got announced yesterday. Sportsmanship man of the year for the Central Division, Pascal Siakam, and his quest to keep playing this season. And I have one more thing to kind of put a bow on the top of Ivica Zubac's season and heading into the summer for him. And I'm not alone today. For once, I actually did my job and actually sought someone out to talk to me about the Pacers. It's Derek Kramer from my Pacers blog and Pacers Recap Live, which hence the background. Derek, hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm in basketball hell still. Will be until at least the lottery. The team has at least been fun to watch recently, which is nice. I enjoy the fact that TJ McConnell is one of the 6 nominees for sportsmanship of the year, sportsman of the year, whatever it's called. But he's well known as the most annoying guy to play against. He's always talking trash, but in a way that makes you smile. So I guess that's the sportsmanship of the year.
So they are more fun despite only 2 wins in ages because ever since they played New York, they lost by 9 and they played good defense down to 101. Then they had that comeback against Portland. They sucked against the Spurs, skipped down. But then they beat Orlando, close against the Clippers, beat Miami. The Lakers game is the Lakers. Real games with different plots than half the 16-game losing streak was just oh, they can't guard anybody and they lost by 17. That's fun. And one player that's been a big part of that, and a reason that the Pacers offense has been pretty good, this stat keeps coming up that they've shot 50% or better and 40% from 3 in a bajillion games in a row. Something crazy. They're scoring very well, is that TJ McConnell is playing the guy who, the sportsman, is playing better of late. Since returning from his 2-game hamstring absence in the middle of March, this is a small sample, 9 games, but still 58% from the field, almost 10 points a game, 7 assists per game. There's a lot of theories I have for this, but I've talked all year kind of about the subtle signs of aging he's shown. He has not shown those, ironically, since his birthday this month. So I propose to you, what to you looks better of late? Am I crazy? Is it just making shots? Because I do have a theory, but I want to know what you think.
I don't I feel like TJ has been pretty good offensively all year. It's kind of the defense is where I feel I see the drop off in TJ's game over the last, just the aging part of it. He's not the same point of attack defender, but you look at his stats and he's been on a downward trajectory in terms of minutes the last 3 years. He's at a career low, I think, for the second straight season, but he's got the second most points per game in his career, despite playing the least amount that he's played in his career per game. So his efficiency, he's just figured out, and in his old age, he's 45, according to Bennedict Mathurin. He's figured out how to get to his spots, and he can just consistently do that against anyone. And he continues to impress me in that way. I don't know if I've noticed an uptick for me personally in terms of his level of performance recently. I did enjoy the TJ McConnell classic inbound steal that he got against Bronny James. Just anytime he does that against a lower end bench player that like knows it, but they don't don't know it until they feel it against him. That's what I've seen with TJ.
Here's my sign of aging note, and then I'll tie it into what you're saying about his efficiency. Every year of his career before this year, outside of his rookie year, 24% or more of his shots from 0 to 3 feet. This season, that number is 14.4%. He's just not as able to create quite as much space attacking the basket. But when he does get there, now that means he's super open. So he's making a career high or a second best career number from right at the rim. And he's been awesome from those pet shots that he just always will make, apparently. Like he'll be 70 years old and still be able to be cash from 10 feet out. So his efficiency numbers being up from like, let's say 5 to 16 feet is why his efficiency has been largely very good this year. But to my point about getting to the rim, this is the fewest free throw attempts he's taken per game since he was with the Sixers in 2018-19. And I think his free throw rate is the lowest. I should probably have checked the advanced numbers before.
He's never gotten to the line much before.
No, 6.4% though is really low, like really low. So that's where you see it a little bit. And yeah, he's been on this tear recently. One, because he just looks generally good and spry, like we're coming back from a hamstring injury again. Great. You never know how much that's helping. They're watching his minutes, so perhaps when he's out there, he's a little more fresh. Can I give you my other theory?
Yes, of course.
My other theory is that familiarity is here. Obi Toppin did not play since October. He returned in late February. Choppy games for him. He was barely playing at all. Ben Shepherd was playing, but McConnell was kind of in and out. Now they've all played. I think Toppin missed once, 9 or 10 games in a row. And say what you want about the specific skills of those players, how good you think they are. They have played together on that second unit, exclusively for years for this team, basically since Ben Shepherd got drafted 3 years ago. And they really know each other well. And we know how their skills complement each other and how other players work around them. And that's kind of been a talking point for those guys at practices of late, is how they just know what to do playing off of each other, even if it's a different center than they're used to, even if it's sometimes it's Jarris Walker, sometimes it's Siakam, sometimes it's Nesmith, whoever it is the forward, they click really well. And so one, I can just see that McConnell's 7 assists a game in the last 9 games, I think speaks to that he knows where his teammates are going to be. He's hitting them with gorgeous passes. Micah Potter talked about how it's always in the pocket today. Would you like to guess the Pacers' offensive rating with McConnell, Toppin, and Shepherd on the floor together this season?
We were just talking about before that it's been a top, you said before the show, they're a top 5 offense during some recent stretch. And so I'll go with a 127.
Yeah, it'd be great if it was 127. It's 132. Now, granted, that's 49 minutes. That's not very many minutes, but that's
one whole game. One whole game.
That's a whole game. That'd be an insane game. So my theory is one, it's always one of those tough things where your teammates are making shots or as you're passing, what's making them make shots, whatever. But the bench looks good because they have the bench they're used to having recently. And that has really, I think, made McConnell look the best compared to some of his other, I guess Shepherd stunk to start the season, but compared to what I saw from them at other times this season, McConnell has gotten the most lift from that, which I think is meaningful going into next season, because we'll see if Shepherd's in the rotation or not, but those should be players that, if they're all playing, would be on the same unit again.
I think those are great points. Like we saw in the Heat game, they chose to keep the bench group together instead of starting a bunch of those guys. So there's definitely something to that, like seeing those guys that have had so much experience together over the last couple of years playing more. I think the hamstring injury, I think that's probably a big factor in terms of just remember how much time it took Tyrese to seem more like himself after that hamstring injury.
Yep.
They're just nagging and they take a while. And I would imagine once you're older, it probably even takes a little bit longer. So for the 45-year-old to look like this again. Love TJ. I think one of the bummers about this year is that, you lose another season of TJ and you don't know how many more you're going to get.
Yeah.
Just that he's just turned 34, will be 35 at the end of next season. It's just a bummer to have this backup point guard that's a guy that you can typically count on to kind of just give your offense a boost, give the crowd a boost and enthusiasm. Just every time he comes out on the floor, it's a bummer that you missed an important year of his extended prime, because it feels like in terms of his offense, like just being able to get to his spots, he just knows how to do all this stuff that he just didn't in a way, 5 or 6 years ago even.
It's hard to be a non-star into your mid-30s. It's hard to be a small guard into your mid-30s. Like, he is breaking a lot of trends and yet still looks quite good. And only one more guaranteed year. They needed to be good one more year, Derek. One more year. And then they could kind of sort out the salary numbers with him and things of that nature. Everybody, quick break to talk about two wonderful groups of people. First up is Quo. Spring is a natural reset point. If there's anything that can quietly cost businesses money, it's messy communication, missed calls, scattered texts, no clear thread of who said what. That is why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. The number one rated but business phone system on G2 with over 3,000 reviews, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. It lets your entire team share one business number so you never miss a call, a text, or an opportunity. And the part that many people love, everything they love is in one thread. All the calls, all the texts, all the voicemails. The whole team can see the conversation, and the AI summarizes everything to save you serious time by logging calls and highlighting the next steps automatically. It just makes your business feel more organized and responsive. Make this the season where no opportunity or no customer slips away. Try Quo for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Let's also very quickly talk about Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood's prediction markets. It's not just you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood Prediction Markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. Many people always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply their knowledge. Now they can take part in a market. They can actually take part live, in a market powered by people. They're no longer just a spectator. Play-by-play. You decide to trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now. To begin, futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commissions merchant, and swap firm. We're back here on Locked On Pacers. Thanks for making this your first listen today and every single day. Make Locked On Bucks your second listen. The Bucks are about to win. That matters for the Bulls. That matters for the tank race in the bottom 10 and so much more. Locked On Bucks for your second listen. And hey, check out the Everydayer Club. You probably missed the March free code because March is over. But if you check out the Everydayer Club, you can unlock ad-free episodes of Locked On Pacers, enter into a private listener group chat, and you can click the link in the show notes to get more, or go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Now let's get right back to it with Derek Kramer. Next up on the crusade of talking about 30-plus-year-olds today, it's Pascal Siakam, who is their only 30-plus-year-old playing against the Bulls tonight. TJ McConnell is out. Ivica Zubac, who's not 30 yet, I'll get to why he's included in this in a second, is also not playing, obviously. Siakam is, honestly, I'm kind of out of stuff to say about his season, but not really. I have things to add for you today. He's played 60 games this season. The Pacers have 7 games left. Do you think 65 games matters to him and the team? Should it matter to him and the team?
I'm sure it does. Like he made an all-star team this year, but yeah, getting to the 65 and just being eligible for all NBA, like it would be hard to see it happen. Like there's so many people that might fall off the list that maybe he gets some votes, but I'm sure it matters to him. I don't know what the Supermax situation, if that could eventually
irrelevant.
Come into play.
Completely irrelevant.
Perfect.
He's already 10 years of service. Does not matter. He was not on the Pacers for his rookie contract.
So at least there's no like monetary incentives to worry about with trying to get Siakam, make sure Siakam gets there. But that's an important like nod for him to try to get, like similar to TJ. Like this is one of Siakam's like best scoring seasons of his career too. I think it's the second highest scoring average he's had per game. So yeah, like I'm kind of the same way. Like I feel like I take Pascal for granted. Like he's just so consistent and just so good at everything he does that it's kind of hard to like keep saying the same things over and over again. But yeah, he's awesome.
Well, here's the thing. He had almost nothing to prove this season and was still an all-star and was like, oh yeah, he can be a number one for a team if they were, really putting their foot forward or they weren't as hurt. How many games would they have won? Who knows? But like, I think you posted this and I really should run through and actually count the numbers. How many of their wins have ended on or had a final minute play by him that got them the win, whether it's a game winner, a huge block, a huge something. I mean, it's like 30% of their wins, right? Like it's
I
crazy.
think it might be higher. It feels like 50.
Yeah, it's nuts how vital he's been. Like Warriors for sure, 2-game winners, the block against the Magic. That's just off the top of my head. I'm already at like 25%. Like he's had that level of clutch time impact. That doesn't even account for the stats. So he's at 60 games now. They have 7 games left. It actually, if they wanted to get exactly 65, would take some strategy, right? What games do you want to sit him? Because here's what I wonder too. This is I'm crusading now. The player participation policy has a thing that's like if your seed is already decided or your playoff fate is decided, like they understand. Yeah. I'll read the exact rule when you're talking in a second. But in my head, it's like if you're eliminated from the playoffs, does that count? Is that like decided? So I don't know how that all works for him or anything of that nature. So if he has to, if there is truly a goal of getting to 65, I am not saying there is. I have no idea if the Pacers care about this at all. I have no idea if Pascal cares about this at all. If that's truly a goal, how do you play 5 of the last 7 if you're him? Because so he's played 24 plus minutes in every game. So all of his games count to this point. There's nothing there. So he'd have to play 20 minutes at least 3 times and 15 minutes at least twice. And then he could sit out 2 other ones. But they have 3 games pending Detroit in the final game, which seems like it'll be a no-effort Pistons, where like the opponent could not be very good. So like that's 3 times Pascal could be the best player on the floor. So how do you? It looks like he's going to play against the Bulls. He's probable now. So is it Detroit, Brooklyn? Do they want to play him on fan appreciation for the last game? Like, how do they actually do this? This is a real. If this is the goal, this is actually kind of a strategy choice they have to make. And also, it's like he's played 60 games. He's been an all-star. He's been very good. Johnny Furphy happened this year. Like there is real consideration to the mileage they're putting on. Everybody knows this part, right? He even, I think, would admit that there is mileage considerations, even after he just explained all these things about what a win means to the home crowd and to the team after not winning at home since January. So I think it felt good to win. I wonder how much they'll chase that feeling again, but there's a lot of considerations with him playing the rest of the year that I'm kind of like, I think in an ideal truth serum world, some Pacers leaders would be like, yeah, he shouldn't play at all. But if he wants to get to 65, okay, then how do you actually manage that? That actually is a thing that matters. Now I'm going to look up this line in the player participation policy.
Yeah, like just the reality of the situation is the Pacers would be better off to just rest him as much as possible. Like there's just like we're at the end of a very, very long season. These games for a long time have been the equivalent of preseason games, despite Carlisle mentioning that like these games are like playoff games because you're playing teams that like are trying to put themselves in playoff positioning, but it's just like the motivation level for a lot of these games before these last 3 was just very clearly not the same. And like the Spurs game seemed like a wake up call. Like we can't put this level of effort on the court. But like it's just the reality. They need to make it to the end of the season with no more major injuries.
Yes.
Happening. Like that's the number one most important thing. And yeah, they don't want to win too much either. Just clearly.
All right. Are you ready for this exact line? This is point 6 in the section titled, in section B, discretionary league office investigation discipline part 6. Says end of season flexibility. This is in the policy the Pacers got fined for violating. It says teams will be afforded additional flexibility to manage their rosters in a reasonable manner at the end of the regular season. And then their example provided is to rest a star player in the team's last regular season game after the team has clinched a specific playoff seed, or to rest a pre-approved player with prior serious or unusual history in the team's final regular season game. Perhaps that is just suggesting the literal last game if you cannot move up or down the standings at all. 7 games, they can move up, right? They could catch the Kings, they could catch the Jazz. So I think the NBA would probably be like, hey, no. But I don't understand why they say they understand if your fate is sealed. Okay, it makes sense not to play the guys. The Pacers' fate is sealed. It's over.
Why would it matter for only 1 game out of 82?
Versus 2. So I'm whatever. They have violated the policy. They should have got fined for that, but it's all been ridiculous since then.
It sounds like it's just that last regular season.
I would agree
based on your reading of that.
I have one more thing left.
And Rick's talked about like they're in communication with the league over like every single injury report now. So and they've been doing their due diligence of making sure every little thing is listed every single game. So they have like the documentation of, hey, this has been nagging for a while, we need to rest him now. So
he's probable for the Bulls game, right? So that's smart. I said if I were managing the Pacers after the fine, I would list him probable every single game. They did not do that, but whatever. So I have my other Siakam question for you, but this is probably pointless, is what is left to show? And if the answer is nothing, how many would you say he exceeded your expectations this year? And if so, how many other players actually did so or even met expectations this year? He's there. I would say Drew is there for me at net. And a lot of guys are playing well now, so it's easy to like look at them now and go, yeah, that guy. But it's like, wait, actually he was kind of crap for like a month and a half. So Johnny Furphy'd be there for me. Like there's not many. And Siakam is their best player. So the fact that it was him is telling.
Yeah, that's a really hard question. I thought like that's kind of been the part of the reason that it is a hellish background is because there haven't been enough of the like step ups that you were hoping for. And if you take out the first couple months of the year, which is a lot of games, you'd probably be like, if you were just like knocked out for those first couple months and then you started watching and you didn't look at the stats from those first couple months, you'd probably feel a lot better about a lot of these guys.
Yeah, if you started watching right when the Colts got eliminated, you'd be like, yeah, most guys were just inconsistent, but we're fine. But everything before that was, let's say, less encouraging.
Like I think Shep deserves credit for these last multiple months. I think he's probably met my expectations at this point, despite the horrid start at the beginning of the year. Kind of similar things for Jarris, I think. The offense, especially being more physical at the rim, especially lately. The defense did not meet my expectations, but I will say the offense did for him. Pascal, I think he met my expectations.
Exceeded for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I just feel like I expect a lot out of him and he completely does it all the time. Like I feel like the only thing that maybe for Pascal is like because of all the injuries, like you could tell like there were just times in this year where he was very frustrated. And just with a lot of stuff. And I feel like you see it most where he takes it out on the referees. I feel like I've seen him complain more to referees than I ever have. And I feel like
a healthy improvement over his November choices of his teammate every time.
Exactly. And that's what I was kind of getting to. Cause like you could clearly see his visible frustration with a lot of these guys that haven't played with him before. He doesn't feel like he can count on these guys.
Yeah.
Understandably so, considering who a lot of these guys were at the beginning of the season. And he's kind of channeled that more into like getting it all out against the refs and getting that kind of frustration energy out on them. But yeah, he's absolutely met my expectations. Nimhard the same. I had high expectations for him this year, but the last few months have just been spectacular. Like let's see, up to like 43 assists and 6 turnovers. I don't know, something crazy, 53 and 8. I don't know what it is, but the last 4 games for him have just been insane. And like the level of like the lob passes, especially, have just been so just fun to watch and so impressive that he's absolutely met my expectations this year. I don't know if anybody
not a long list. Not a long list.
TJ met my expectations.
You know what? I'll say this, Derek. Tyrese Haliburton met my expectations for the year.
The shingles did not meet my expectations. Him being gone for like a month and a half.
I expected nothing from him. I have seen nothing from him. I will miss my joke. No one even knows I do this. During game, if it's a close Pacers game, I turn to Dustin every time and I go, really weird that Rick hasn't put Tyrese in. It will not be funny next year when he's playing again. My final thing on Siakam and the 65 game thing. Look, I don't know if he even has a chance at All NBA. Like the guys I see that people are pushing for a third team, I'm like, he's close to as good as them, but their records are way better. I'm doing the thing I did around All-Star. Let's round his per game stats down. So that'd be 23.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game. 7 players, including him this season. It's Siakam, Embiid, Giannis, Danny, Jaylen Brown, Luka, and Nikola Jokic. Pretty dang good group, and 2 of those 7 will not even reach 65 games, and Danny is going to be freaking close. Luka's got to get there. Jokic has to get there. I mean, if they weren't so bad, he would be in the mix for sure. So if 1 player, 2 players falls out for some reason at the end, this actually could be a thing of note to keep an eye on. One more break, everybody. We got to talk about two more great groups of people. First up is Game Time. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena, the crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part has not always been so simple. That is why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. Puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. You can pull up the Game Time app, pick an upcoming NBA game, and have tickets like them within minutes. You can see the all-in price up front, so there's no surprise fees. You can see the view from your seat before buying to make your decision even easier. The zone deals are a game changer. You just select the section. They pick great seats for you. Great last-minute ticket options. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. Let's also very quickly talk about FanDuel. The tournament is here. One of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. It's an indie, and it's nonstop action from tip to final cut down right now. FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. The best part, you get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the tournament. You can mix it up however you want. Game picks, futures, even same-game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It is perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new. Different matchups, new storylines, more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on all the action. This player is not currently 30 years old, but I'm grandfathering him in because he's the only other player on the team who at the end of next season will be 30 years old, and that's Ivica Zubac, who turns 30 next March. And look, he hasn't played. I talked about his.
You were really reaching. I didn't realize how much you were reaching with this.
I just needed a theme. I actually had stuff I wanted to talk about with him, but I couldn't find a place for it. You're here to deal with that. I did his season review by accident because Eddie Garrison and I were like, let's talk about his first 5 games. Oh, that's all of them. But then JMV was on here and he talked about, like, could the Pacers actually change their system to cater to him a little bit? And some people commented like, yeah, maybe they should do that. And I said, no way, what, the system? And I since then have talked a lot about some of the system buckets you see from the Pacers every single game. And in my head, I'm like, they can't change for him, right? And so I'm going to run through a couple things in a row for you really quick. Real question, is this something they actually have to consider? Is changing the way they play, even slightly, to fit in their new player, who is, albeit very good. But the reason I call this a real question is Isaiah Jackson couldn't shoot. They didn't have to change how they played to fit him. And granted, all these players I'm about to name have different strengths than Zubac. I get it. He couldn't shoot. They didn't have a problem fitting him in their system. Thomas Bryant couldn't really pass. They had no problem fitting him in the way they played and the things that they did. Tony Bradley was slow, ground-bound big. They had no problem largely fitting him into what they do there, or at times where he was their second best big. Obviously, none of those guys played major minutes. They very rarely played with the starters, who Zubac will be playing with. But, why is this such a thing for him compared to those guys who they were like, yeah, we're going to play the way they play, and they're going to figure it out? And they did eventually. They all had, they all had real contributions and deep playoff runs, right? Why is this different for Zubac? Or is it? Am I on base here?
I'm kind of surprised. The thing that I would think they might consider changing a system would be on the other end of the floor, the defensive end.
Okay. Go on. More drop, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's what Zubac is has played. That's why he was an all defense guy. That's what he does. I think it was clear, and I think he even said this I'm going to have to make a lot of adjustments and get used to how the Pacers defend. It's way different than what he's done in his career. I don't feel like there's going to be a ton of issues sliding him in offensively. I think that'll work just fine. I'm not worried about that at all. It was really hard to make any judgments about those 5 games because he came back and Pascal wasn't playing, which I think is probably the biggest bummer of the 100%. Post All-Star break is just not getting to see those two guys play together. But it was the team was just in such a funk where the effort was not great for a lot of the guys, and it was just bad on both ends of the floor. Even just if he could have played the 5 games over this last week when everybody's feeling good, and most of the guys are back and healthy. It's I have trouble trying to take anything away from those 5 games at all.
And they played them in 170 hours.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the defense would be my guess for where they might consider making more system changes compared to the offensive end. I didn't listen to those episodes, so I'm not sure like what the thought was for how you adjust the system to Zoo.
I mean, you could probably guess though that it's like, do they slow it down a little because he's not as fast, right? But like again, that wasn't a problem for. I'm picking on this guy because he was their slowest center of the last few years who played meaningfully, but like Tony Bradley figured it out, man. Like that dude just sprinted harder and figured out how he was going to score. And they never like dumped it into Tony Bradley in the post or anything. It's not like he was a central part of their offense, but he had no problem like doing the things that he would do. I agree with what you're saying. And nothing about their defensive system, if that's even the right term to use, has been like, they have to stick with this. They can't possibly change this across the last few years. So that is reasonable to me that end of the floor, they change what they do necessarily like generally, but how they do it or what their focuses are, how often they switch, things like that. Okay. That makes sense to me. Cause then you're actually using his strengths, and the two biggest, holes that he plugs are defense at the 5 and rebounding. Great. Do those things, get stops and grab the miss. And I think that was the most disappointing thing for me with him is his rebounding stunk in 3 of the 5 games. Like he got punked by the Knicks twice and Klingon. So, that was the thing that went poorly. That is reasonable to me. I was amazed how much, not a ton of people, but a lot of people were like, yeah, that makes sense. They could slow down for Zubac. And I'm like, unless Haliburton, like
that's who they are.
Yeah, if Tyrese comes out next year and he looks terrible, like, okay, maybe you have to like overhaul your whole team, obviously. But outside of that, it's like, dude, their whole team, like they probably lead the league and like they scored because of the way they play on that possession. And like you can't, unless it's actively harming you, you cannot go away from that, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the conditioning and stuff that'll pick up as time goes on for him getting used to running. Like I felt like he did a decent job of like trying to keep up with the pace of the team. Just eyeball. I don't have any numbers for those 5 games based on that, but yeah, like I'm not overall concerned of him like keeping up with the pace and those things. Like he can be the last guy down there on the floor. Like a lot of times the baskets are so fast when like Obi gets a leak out or something, like just chill and hang out there while Obi gets a quick layup or Aaron gets a quick corner 3. Like I don't think it's that huge of a deal if he's one of the last guys down the floor sometimes.
Yep, I agree with all that. We'll see, right? He has not played. He's played with 2 of their other projected starters. Saw another great post today having Aaron Nesmith on the bench. I'm here to remind everybody again, even if the Pacers get a top 4 pick, Aaron Nesmith is starting at the 3 next year. That's not hardly even a guess. So yeah, he's only played 2 games with Nembhard, 3 with Nesmith. Super hard to evaluate any of his actual system fit, but step 1, get your system back, win some games. Step 2, Zubac adjust to what they're doing and make the team as good as possible. And that is the 30-plus guys who will play combined.
Say 29-plus.
An giant asterisk after 30. This group will play a combined 8 more games this year, 7, 9, something to that effect. Not a very high number the rest of the way. Pacers Bulls tomorrow. We'll be back talking here after that game. Looking forward to it. We'll have a hopefully guest.
I'd be undefeated against the Bulls in a season where they might win 18 games.
Is that the only team they'll sweep this year? They did not sweep the Kings. They lost to the Nets. They lost to the Wizards. Did they sweep the Jazz?
Bulls were trying to win when they won the first 3.
That's right. It was their first road win of the year. Do you remember a crucial storyline from that game, Derek? Do you remember
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Ethan Thompson played like 30 minutes in his first
was that
game.
Like that was like his first, yeah. ET phone home. I should remember that.
He started for like 2 weeks. Good times.
He hit like his first 5 shots or something crazy.
Yes,
like
and there was some dude in an Ethan Thompson jersey in the crowd. And I was like, how is that even possible? I can't even.
I missed that part of the story.
I saw it post game because he was talking. I think they're friends or something. Anyway,
that's
crazy times. The season's going to be full of like stupid memories. So that is the rest of this week, Derek. That's where people can hear what I'm going to do. Where can people listen to you? When's your next game? What are you guys doing this week?
We're going to do Sunday. Who do they play Sunday?
Cleveland.
So we're doing the Cavs. We'll maybe see some of the new look Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll be live right after the buzzer. Yeah, we're live on the iPacers YouTube channel. If you search for Evil Pacers Recap Live. It's a very long palindrome. We didn't originally have Evil in front of the name, but then this season started the way it did. So we made the palindrome longer.
Hey, if they keep their pick, it was not evil, right? Right? All necessary.
I think we'll be out of hell if we can get.
Somebody said
at least temporarily.
Somebody said about Jay Huff's free throws because I talked to him about it. They were like, "Well, thank God he missed them. That could be the win that keeps them their pick." I'm like, you can't pick one game. They had to lose the exact number they did when it's all over.
Every single little moment.
Yes,
it all
every
adds
single
up.
game. Exactly. Don't get me wrong. I understood why that is dramatic. Like Aaron Neesmith missed that in Dallas, etc.
We'll be live during the lottery too, so we're gonna go live during the lottery, and we'll see how that goes.
I might actually tune in just to see you guys.
That's gonna be both stressful, entertaining, all of the stuff. We have fun no matter what. It's been a rough year, but we're having fun over there.
You guys do a tankathon spin. I am on my tradition. I do one a year, even if the Pacers aren't in it. I do one a year the day before the lottery, and I will be doing that again this year. I look forward to that.
How has your spin compared? Have you ever gotten the same winner as the actual winner?
No. I think last year I had one of the. So I did my pre. I remember this very well. Last year I did my pre-lottery show with somebody, and I just said at the end, like, we were talking about the Pacers, and I was like, what's the best or worst lottery result? And I was like, it would be horrible to me for the basketball gods if any of the Mavs, Sixers, or Spurs jumped up. And then they all did, every single one. But I remember my spin, one of those teams jumped up. And I actually got the Hawks to number 4 in the Risacher year, which I think in retrospect, they would have loved to have Stephon Castle instead of Zach Risacher. So hindsight, maybe.
Yeah. Somehow it's worked out for the Hawks. They look amazing now, all of a sudden.
Guess what? Guess who they benched right before that? Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow talking Pacers.
Who they traded? Yeah.
Pacers Hornets on Friday. We'll see who's with me in between. Maybe in the spirit of thematics, we'll do the youngest 3 players on Thursday. Thank you all so much for listening. We will see you very soon.